humans, it is Lou here for Simply Crochet Magazine, and in today's video we are going to be diving into the Hook and Learn project in association with Scheepjes yarn. If you'd like to join us in a wider community sort of sense and link arms with us as we hook away at this fabulous project, then you can do so by joining us in the Facebook group. We'd love to hear from you and be updated on how you're getting on, and if you do have any problems, myself and a few other members of the Simply Crochet team will be there to help if needs be. So without further ado, let's do this thing. So for today's tutorial we will be using Scheepjes Stonewash XL in coral and turquoise. Now this is an Aran weight yarn and it is very squishable and lovely, and look at these colours. We'll also be using a 5.5mm hook, which for those of you in the United States is an I or a 9. Today's stitch for issue 73 of Simply Crochet Magazine is Granny Stripe Stitch. Now this works in a very similar way to the granny square. We're going to be using these clusters of 3 treble crochet stitches. We're going to be doing it horizontally instead of in a square. With Granny Stripe, we are going to be starting the coral rows with a chain of 3, which I've already done here as you can see. Now we're going to be working into that gap between the 2 trebles of the row previous. Rather than working into the top of the stitch like we normally would, in and sort of under the stitch, we're going to be working directly into that space. So we're going to be putting 3 treble crochet stitches into this space. So there is our 3rd treble crochet stitch. And then what we're going to be doing is we're going to be hopping over to the next gap in our trebles from the row previous. So we're going to be finding that next gap along, and we're going to be working again directly into that gap, 3 treble crochets. Now for those of you that aren't familiar with the treble crochet, I will pop a link in the description below to our tutorial. But you'll be putting 3 treble crochets into each of these gaps all the way along. There's the 3rd, and again skip to the next gap, and we're going to be working 3 treble crochet stitches into this one as well. So you'll be repeating that same pattern all the way to the end, and I'll meet you back here when you're done if you'd like to pause the video at this point, and I'll see you in just a moment. When you get to the end of your row, you're going to want to add your final treble cluster, which is your 3 treble crochet stitches, into that last gap. There's 2 and 3, and then what you're going to do is you're going to work a treble crochet directly into the top of that last treble from the row below. Now it's a bit fiddly to find exactly where to put your hook in this instance, but just find the place that you feel best works in the top and pop your treble crochet in there. Then you're going to fasten off that row. So now we're going to take our turquoise colour and we are going to add that on to the end of our row in that first sort of gap part there. Now you can do this however you feel comfortable. I like to pull mine all the way through and then just kind of knot it around the previous row, but whichever method you like to use is absolutely fine. So you're now going to take your hook, you're going to pull that through, and you're going to give yourself, as before, another chain of 3. Now this is going to count as your first treble in your 3 treble cluster. So into that same gap you are going to put 2 more treble crochet stitches. And there you have your first cluster of the row. And now, as we did with the previous row, we are going to be going all the way to the end, working 3 treble crochet stitches into each of the gaps between your trebles from the previous row. So there's 1, 2, and 3. and you're going to continue this all the way to the end. So pause the video and I'll meet you back here in just a moment. So now that we've got to the end, we are going to work our final treble cluster into this last gap. So we're going to do our 3 treble crochet stitches. This one is number 2. Lovely jubbly. And there you have the end of your turquoise row. So you're going to continue working in this pattern until your square is the desired size stated in your pattern. And there you have it, granny stripe stitch. So as always, thank you so much for coming and spending this time with me. I very much appreciate it because I quite like you. I think you're all right anyway. I can deal with you in small doses. And if you do have any issues with the pattern whatsoever, please get in touch by leaving a comment below. You can send us a message. You can get in touch with us through Facebook or Twitter or Instagram. We are everywhere. In the meantime, from myself and the rest of the Simply Crochet team, we love you very much and we will see you very soon for another video. Bye.